Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I'm C. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to wrap up our off-season homework with the right fielders in our Hall of Fame Tracker series. I use this to determine who should I be putting some money into, who should I be taking money out of, and I just have to do this once a year after the season and see who may be on a Hall of Fame track or not for that long-term relevance. There'll be news events here and there that may spike prices, but I prefer not to mess with that a whole lot. I just want to buy something and try and be right over the long term. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So anyways, 27 right fielders in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. The average wins above replacement of all those Hall of Famers is, I call it 68 wins above replacement. Most of that happens kind of early on. Outfielders, as we've seen, don't age terribly well. Highest Fangraphs WAR, 168.8. Babe Ruth, class of 36. Most hits, 37.71. Hank Aaron, class of 82. Most home runs, Hank Aaron, and with 755, of course, of the players in the Hall of Fame. So 30,000 hit club. Aaron Paul Wainer, Tony Gwynn, Dave Winfield, Al Kaline, and Roberto Clemente, who had 3,000 right on the nose there. 500 home run club. Aaron Ruth, Frank Robinson, Reggie Jackson, and Mel Ott. So see if we can get some people to join them or not here. So anyways, when we look at guys that are on the reason we do this on an annual basis is people accelerate towards the track or they fall off the track. And so there's big names that fall off over time. Not everybody's going to make it. I mean, very few people will make it. And so some of the bigger names that start to fall off, you may want to use any late career resurgence or something like that to sell cards if you have money into them. And so some of the more notable names that are falling off the track, Josh Lowe, 25 years old, 4.2 wins above replacement. A Hall of Famer at age 25, on average, will have 18.45 wins, and so he's got a lot to make up for. If he wants to get to, and we'll discuss why 62 wins is kind of a decent number here, by the age of 35, he's going to have to average close to 6 wins per season, something that he hasn't done yet, and he's going to have to average that over a long period of time. And so if you're thinking about committing decent money to Josh Lowe, think twice. Kerry Carpenter, same thing, 2.7 wins above replacement, with a similar 5.93 wins needed on an annual basis to get to that 62 by 35. Alex Verdugo joining the Yankees lineup. And the Yankees mess with players, especially of Alex Verdugo's stature. They may platoon him. They may put him in situations, and he's a pretty decent hitter. But he might suffer a little bit in New York. We'll see. Maybe he succeeds a lot on that New York stage. He could be front and center. Maybe again, if you have a lot in Alex Verdugo and you're looking to exit, I mean, this is kind of your time to do that. He's pretty relevant. But anyways, he has 9.2 wins above replacement. Average Hall of Famer at his age, 27, is 30. So he needs 6.5 wins to get to that 62 by 35. Giancarlo Stanton, one of the bigger names that I think people were very, very high on. Injuries have taken their toll. He is very respectable. 42 wins above replacement, but is he going to be able to put up 6-7 wins on an annual basis, or 10 wins is what's required at a time when most players at that right field position, DH position, start to decline? So maybe if he plays till 40, he's strictly DH, he can do something, but it's an uphill battle for him. And Adolis Garcia, a lot of people are going nuts for his stuff at the World Series, but if you take a step back and you look at a 30-year-old with 11 wins to his name, that is probably not the player you want to pile a lot of money into, especially when they're hyper relevant. So got a few players coming up here that may be worth monitoring. Jordan Walker is 21 years old. He has 0.2 wins above his name. So he's got a shot here to get some playing time at a pretty young age. And that's what we're looking for here. Average Hall of Famer at that age. He hasn't done much either. So he's at least got a chance. And that's what we're looking for. Average 4.41 wins above replacement to get to that 62 by age 35. Sal Frelick, kind of the same thing. He's put up a win and a half. He's 23 years old. Average Hall of Famer at that age, just under 4. So if he can start producing quickly here, then he needs to average 5. That number can come down again if he starts putting up 4 or 5 win seasons, which is what Hall of Famers do. You're going to put up 4, 5, 6 win seasons fairly regularly, and then you're going to squeak out a couple of monsters here and there. So it's a big ask, but so's the Hall of Fame. Nelson Velasquez, Jared Kelenic. I was going to put him in at the left field spot. He's played all over the diamond. He's going to be a left fielder, but before we wrap this up, figured, all right, sneak him in because now he's with the Braves. and they'll probably use him better than Seattle did. He wasn't super interesting, not getting a ton of the playing time. He's had his ups and downs. But the talent is certainly there, so it's like, all right, before I exit this thing, better sneak him in there. Otherwise, my friend AP Sports Cards is going to have my head here. So, anyways, Jared Kelenic, 23 years old, 0.7 wins above replacement. He's averaged just over 5. And again, he's going to have that chance in Atlanta. So let's see what he can do with it in that lineup. He should get pitches to hit, and he can hit them. So stay healthy and produce. See what you can do here. Christopher Morel, prorated his numbers over a full season, and wow. What a great player there. So he's 24 years old, 3 wins above replacement, and needs to average just over 5 by 62. I don't concern myself a ton with that. We'll have to get a few years into it and see what they can produce. Matt Wallner for the Twins. He's got a very good power tool, and so you're a Twin. You got to throw you in here somewhere here. So again, 62 by 35. It's a long shot, not anything I'm putting money into, but some of these other guys are at least interesting enough and worth monitoring, which we do on an annual basis. Average wins above replacement by age. The Hall of Famers really start to produce around age 23. 4 wins above replacement. They start to peak around 26, 27, 28. And Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron. I mean, there's monster names in there. You even look at the players that have been elected since 1980. Frank Robinson, Tony Gwynn, Vlad Guerrero. I'm going to start leaving Larry Walker. I'm going to start leaving guys out, so I'm going to stop right there. But between 4 and 5 wins is kind of what we're looking for between age 24 and 32. And then there's a pretty significant drop off once you get past 35. You're not that productive anymore. So we want to make sure we have what we need in terms of Hall of Fame criteria by about age 35-ish or whatever, because you're not going to you'll put up a little bit of wins above replacement. But let's make sure we have things mostly wrapped up by that time here. So let's look at some of the higher level targets here. And we'll start off with Kyle Tucker, who's 26 years old with 16 Fangraphs WAR, and he's averaged just over 5 to get that 62 by 35, 500 hits, 100 home runs, 132 weighted runs created. Terrific bat. Plays decent defense. He has a top 5 MVP finish, couple of All-Star games, Gold Glove, and a Silver Slugger. So he's at least tracking. Dusty Baker messed with him a little bit when he was young, but when now that he's a full-time chance, he's producing pretty well. So let's see if he can't continue to do that. Again, 4 or 5 win seasons are great. That's what you need to do most of the time, but we need to squeak out a few sixes, maybe a 7-win season, and we'll see if he's able to do that as he starts to enter his prime here. So one of my favorite players to collect, at least. Aaron Judge, 31 years old, 42 wins above replacement. Needs to average just over 5 to get that 60 by 35. Came up at a later date here, age 24-ish or whatever, but started producing right off the bat. And so 800 hits, 257 home runs makes this really, really interesting here. So I'm not too worried about the trajectory because he's tracking just fine. Doing that accelerated path is even better than what we've seen for most. And so what I'm looking at for the most part is, can he get close to that 500 home runs? I mean, he's got a longer term contract. He's going to have time to do that. He doesn't show a lot of signs of slowing down. And so if he can, over the next couple of years, I mean, he can put up home runs in a hurry. Obviously, we all know that. And so if he could get himself up to 400 over the next 3-4 years or something, then he's on 500 watch there. So 165 weighted runs created. When he's been playing, he's been an MVP level player. So MVP, couple 3 top 5 finishes, Rookie of the Year, 5 All-Star games, and 3 Silver Sluggers. So he's filling the stat line here just fine. I think this is a player that if you're close, I mean, you've got that MVP tiebreaker, you're going to be sitting at a very elite level, home run level. And he's pretty well liked. I don't think there's people that have a lot of bad things to say about Aaron Judge. And so factor all that together, I think just stay healthy and keep producing over the next 5 seasons, even if you come up short of that average Hall of Famer of 68 wins above replacement. If you're roughly 60-ish or whatever, just because you have the home run record and you're able to produce for a long time, that's probably gonna get her done here. So Shohei Ohtani, this is kind of a weird layout here. Got everything all over here, but I'm not covering up the dog. All right, people. 28 years old. Fangraphs WAR for hitting 19.9, for pitching 11.8, and so he does 2 things very, very well. Very, very good hitter. He's an elite, very, very good season pitching, and then the rest we're just okay. But he does 2 things more than competently, and so to get to 62 wins by age 35, he needs to average just over 4 doing both. I mean, that really accelerates the line. You can see that as he's been productive in both hitting and pitching, more than productive, really. He's really accelerated towards that line, so both count, and so he's pulling double time here. Next year, this will slow down as he's a hitter only, but because he's such a special talent, can he just be healthy for the next Well, he's got a 10-year contract now, and so can he be productive for like half of that? And that should be that should get her done here because of his legend status here. So 681 hits, 171 home runs, elite level bat here, a couple of MVPs, 3 top 5 finishes, a top 5 Cy Young finish. Rookie of the Year, 3 All-Star games, 2 Silver Sluggers, so he's really filling it up. So just be productive for most of that contract, and we should be good to go. So, all right, Fernando Tatis Jr., 24 years old, 13.7 wins above replacement. He's averaged just over 4 wins per season to get to that 62 by 35, 400 hits, 100 home runs, elite level bat. A couple of top 5 MVP finishes, All-Star Game, Gold Glove, Platinum Glove this year after his move to the outfield. And so right field's a harder track than shortstop. Shortstop, you can put up some more wins above replacement. Right field, you're going to have to bring it a little bit, and he's done that. So a couple of Silver Sluggers. There's a few things under the hood that they give you pause or whatever, but because he's off to such a nice start, he could slow down that trajectory just a little bit. 4 wins above replacement on an annual basis, I think is achievable for him without too much effort over the next 6-7 years at least, and so he should be able to stay above the line on that terrific track here. So Ronald Acuna Jr., he's good, 25 years old, 26.7 Fangraphs WAR, needs to average 3.5 to get to the 62 by 35, and so again hits, home runs, that'll flesh itself out over the next few years. He's still pretty young, but 143 weighted runs created for the career. That's a MVP level number, or not MVP level, but elite level. But this year it was MVP level. So terrific season here, and he was on a similar pace last year, and he got hurt, and so now he's accelerating above that line, which is terrific. So MVP, a couple of top 5 MVPs, Rookie of the Year, 4 All-Star games, and 3 Silver Sluggers. So again, filling up the stat line. He's doing enough to stay at the top of the game here. Just 25 years old, and he's not doing it late. He's doing it early, and so he should be able to continue this for the next few years at least and stay above that line. So, like most of these guys that are young, it just comes down to health. But he's in a position with the best of them, that's for sure. Bryce Harper, 30 years old, 47.5 Fangraph WAR. He's averaged under 3 wins on an annual basis to get to that 62 by 35, which again, for a player of his stature, may not matter. So 1,200 hits, 306 home runs, 142 weighted runs created. These right fielders are insane here. He's got a couple of MVPs. That's a big deal right there. If you get to 2, maybe 3, it's going to be hard to keep you out. There are players with 2 that are not in, and there's people pounding the table on it. But if you start to approach 60, 65 wins with those, then it's a no doubter. If you have a couple of MPs and you're sitting at 45, 48 wins, something like that, then that's where the discussion happens. Probably not going to be much discussion about Bryce Harper when all is said and done. If he's able to stay healthy and continue to produce at a high level, he's going to first base, and that should take a little pressure off, although the wins above replacement will start to decline at that position. But not that he was again, right field wasn't a cakewalk at all, so probably not much of a decline. So Rookie of the Year, 7 All-Star games, 3 Silver Sluggers. Again, stay healthy, relatively healthy, produce at a pedestrian level, and you're good to go over the next 5 years. So our number 1 target for right field is Mookie Betts. And then this kind of goes to what I've talked about a few times here. He's a little bit out of sight, out of mind. He's an amazing talent, but when people are going nuts for the Acunas of the world and Sotos and whatever, Ohtanis, it's like, is it just because Mookie Betts is too easy of an investment? I mean, this is a generational type player here, 30 years old, nearly 60 Fangraphs WAR. I mean, he's basically in, is what it comes down to. And he's still producing at a high level and got a long ways to go here. Just show up, be replacement level, and you've got your 62 by 35. I mean, he doesn't have to do a darn thing here. You will have to compile more hits, put up another 1,000 hits, which he could do over the next 7 years or something like that. 250 home runs, 140 weighted runs created. But he's got an MVP, top five finishes, 7 All-Star games, 6 Silver Sluggers, a batting title, and he's bowled 3 perfect games in PBA sanctioned events. So I don't know what more you want from this guy here, but should be a very high level target for most Hall of Fame collectors. And again, his path is pretty well defined here and a good one to end on. So thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that kind of good stuff. We'll against my better judgment, do a chart blast breaking down the price action of these players. No one seems to like that, but I enjoy doing it. So we'll do one last one here, and we'll do a roundup of the top 40 overall. So thanks again, and have a great rest of the day.